Welcome everybody to the Storytime channel. My name is Steven, and today we have some malicious compliance stories. Before we get into the stories, I want to announce that I'm giving away a $20 Amazon gift card to one random commenter that leaves a comment on any video between today's videos and Sundays, with the winner being announced on Monday's video. You can comment as many times as you'd like, but also know the winning comment could also be pulled from my second channel, Storytime, so make sure to comment there as well for your best chances. That said, our first story of the day is by Unfocus My Chi. Just do your job and shut up. No problem. The software company I worked for got acquired. Some people were let go, some were added, and some teams and functions were restructured. Prior to the acquisition, we had a multiple hat situation where you basically did whatever was in your capacity, teams played to each other's strengths, and one person would generally take a client from the first demo right through the configuration, implementing, and training phases of the software. Some of us had strengths in technical areas, others had a decade plus in the client's subject matter. Clients would give us some feedback or wish lists. We'd talk amongst the team about how the functionality could be added or changed, make a functional mock-up, and then bring that to the development team for polish and integration into the production code. It worked wonderfully, like 100% positive feedback and nothing broken when it went to production. We had a good rapport with the dev guys, and some of us were able to write queries or code portions that would save them from having to ask a billion subject matter questions. When we weren't dedicated to a task, we'd handle support calls. Clients would call up, receptionists learned who to pass things to based on clients and the nature of issues, and resolution was typically instantaneous unless the problem required research. Clients loved that and had the understanding that if we couldn't resolve their problem right away, it was because we needed to look into it. After the acquisition, the parent company reorganized things into a much more rigid, you have one job type of scenario. The trouble was, with the people they let go, I was the singular remaining source of a lot of the capacities we provided. It left me working with the sales, product improvement and concept, product evangelism, implementation, development, data conversion, and support teams. Initially, I didn't mind. Wasn't any different from my previous role. Things started nicely enough with the company's CEO genuinely asking, "Would you mind helping X team with Y project?" And he'd pick up my travel bar tabs and toss me a day off here and there. It was a fair exchange, and he treated it as though I was doing him a favor. But at some point, all these other departments expected, then demanded my time. Instead of people asking when I could help them on a project, I would just find time blocks added to my schedule for various things. A couple of times, I was supposed to be chairing these meetings and having things prepared, and no one even bothered to tell me. Around the same time, I noticed a lot of the recommendations I made when asked for input were being overturned by people in new roles who had no idea what they were talking about. As in, literally had no exposure to the subject matter and had never even seen the software, plus no programming or logic or database experience. So my input is demanded, but also ignored. And this was causing more demands on my time when things were broken or didn't meet client expectation. Plus, the new dev team I was working with made every excuse not to act unless someone went and confirmed and fetched everything they needed. The external demands on my time had increased, and I had coincidentally hit a few walls with my actual job in that clients were unresponsive and couldn't get me the data or access I needed to complete tasks. But that didn't stop my boss from demanding documentation and results and documentation about the results. There was no such thing as waiting. It's your duty to call and harass the powerless client until whatever third party involved enables whatever we need. I was really unhappy in a job I had previously loved. Every day was worse than the last. And then I got my employee review. It was top notch, and yet I got the same cost of living raise as everyone else. It particularly burned my butt that the sales guys were getting commission on sales that I freaking made, and I was just shafted. At the original company, effort above and beyond was well rewarded. I doubled my starting salary in a few years' time for hard work. Now, I was miserable, overdrawn, and got nothing for it. I was having daily arguments with my boss who was completely indifferent to all my commitments and refused to understand that I couldn't compel third-party companies to do my timely bidding to get client data or access. Out of nowhere, I get a call from the head of the data conversions department. He says a few of his people have noticed some high-level solutions to dev or data problems in the Teams chats come out of some random guy from implementations in no time. Then he was talking to a pre-existing client about converting a set of financial data from a legacy system I had converted some building, code, fire, planning, and police data from, and they asked if they could have me do it specifically because my conversion of their other data was flawless, and I granted them some change requests on the way through to make their lives easier. Simple changes to record type names for easier identification, clip leading spaces, or extra zeros so they could put reports in Excel, stuff like that. He said the client wouldn't stop freaking gushing about me, and he was floored to hear that I had done the whole thing myself, where his team typically breaks the responsibilities between 5 or more people. He offered me a position on the spot, and I told him I was interested and I'd think about it. He told me I could start doing some part-time stuff with him a few hours a week if I wanted it that way. Then he told me he saw the BS I was dealing with and said he'd get the other departments off my freaking plate. I liked him right away. My current boss then interrupted our call, seeing me talking to that guy on our in-house phone app, and demanded to know what I was wasting my time on. Then she proceeded to berate me about open orders and my lack of documentation about their lack of progress. "You've got time to BS with him, but you can't call a client?" I tried to tell her for the millionth time about all the expectations from the other departments, the obligations they leave beyond their allotted timeframes, the inability I have to force other companies to do things for us no matter how many times I tell the client. She told me, "I'm done with your excuses, just do your job and shut up." I called the conversions head right back and asked how soon I could transfer to his department full time. He said, "Freaking yesterday, man. This is such good news. I was just talking to assistant department manager and he about crapped his pants when I said I think I got you part-time. Take the rest of the day off, have a beer to celebrate. I'll handle the transfer and we'll see you in the morning." And that was that. I did as my new boss commanded and had a beer to celebrate. A wave of relief came over me after months of tension. The following day, I told the vampire departments and my previous boss in no uncertain terms that I was done helping them. It went unacknowledged and they continued adding things to my calendar, so I deleted them, did my job, and shut up. Things got ugly. I'm not super talented or anything, but I was literally the only person they had for a lot of things, and things went to crap. Most of it requires institutional knowledge I had spent years acquiring, so they couldn't even hire someone to do the things. And rather than come ask me for help, people made demands and attacks, and I got flat out belligerent about it. In an email with the CEO CC'd, the support manager asked why I couldn't be bothered to help them anymore. I said, for the same reason you can't be bothered to clean up the toilets or recable the building. Not my job. Previous boss told me to just do my job and shut up. Take it up with her. The sales/evangelist guys tried to go over my head and asked my new boss if I could do some of their demos. He said, "Sure, if you come over here and do some of his conversions." Numbers tanked for the departments I was previously involved with, support in particular. They went from having a 2-hour average resolution time to 8 days. Sales for my product line went down from 85% success to less than 25%. CEO reported that sales dropped over 60% from 85, don't know the exact. Dev and product went from 100% customer satisfaction to 60%. Implementations has been completely unable to install certain components, which led to at least one contract cancellation and demand for a refund. And in true storybook fashion, my previous boss's boss, the one who gave me my previous employee review and who is a childhood friend of the CEO, told me privately that the CEO noticed all the departments OP stopped working for suddenly saw their worst numbers in company history. Weird. And asked, "Anything in particular that pushed the guy over the edge?" Previous boss's boss explained that I was pissed about the review and raise having nothing to do with merit or effort, the demand from other departments, unrealistic and impossible expectations, and the idiotic requirement for documentation. So this year and going forward, there are two criteria for yearly raises: individual output and department output. No raises for people with negative performance numbers. Upon that announcement, some department heads up and quit, and others have changed positions internally. Meanwhile, I have written a few utilities for my team that have saved thousands of hours of manual work. Our numbers are soaring where they were previously up and down, and my new boss is driving the whole bus full of our laughing butts all the way to the bank. Just imagine having a superstar working for you that is literally making you money hand over fist compared to a competitor, and you flat out refuse to reward them, and on top of that treat them like crap. That's exactly what OP was going through. If you had to deal with all that OP was dealing with, would you have quit and tried to find another job? Let me know in the comments down below. And our final story of the day is by Intact Burrito. You really don't want me to open this bag. I am a broke college student. Not like the, I spend all my money on DoorDash and weed so I don't have enough money to go out with friends kind of broke, but rather the, I once ate a piece of cheesecake that I found on the side of the road because I was hungry kind of broke. Anyhow, I have managed to find a way to swindle a certain convenience store to unwittingly give me coupons that I could use to get free food every now and then. I'd worked there before, so I knew how to take advantage of their coupon system as much as they had taken advantage of me while I worked there. Well, one day I had gotten $11 in coupons, which I was very excited to use to buy myself some groceries. Now, convenience stores are great, but when it comes to groceries, well, they aren't grocery stores, so options are a bit limited. Of course, for me it's free, so I'm not complaining. So I'm walking up and down the aisles looking for something slightly nutritious so that I can eat real food and not get that groggy, I've been eating nothing but peanut butter and bread for the last week type of feeling. You know the one. After grabbing some peanut butter and bread, a stack of pink catches my eye. My heart drops. Could it be? Do they have meat? My legs pull me over to the meat stack faster than I can process this miracle, and I am suddenly face to face with a giant stack of packaged salami. Finally, some good freaking food. I grab myself a package of salami and it becomes my new best friend. I imagine our life together, the sandwiches, the snacks, and best of all, the satisfaction of having a real meal. I put the peanut butter back and exchange it for some mayonnaise and mustard. Peanut butter had gotten me through some hard times, but sometimes you just gotta upgrade. I'm sorry, old pal. Papa just needs some meat. I go to the checkout stand with my salami, beaming like a maniac. After getting home, I am ecstatic about this meat, and I immediately unwrap the salami. As soon as I begin peeling it, I realize my mistake. Instantly, the wrath of Genghis Khan charges directly from the meat to my nostrils with a weaponized stench that pulls at my stomach. This is no salami. This is a foul, vile monster. I try to reseal the salami to contain its stench, but it is too powerful. The salami refuses to be contained. Panicked, I scour the house for anything I can find to vanquish this terrible monster that is let loose in my house. I happen across a freezer bag, into which I throw the salami. This displeases the salami. Furious, the salami begins planning its revenge. The freezer bag contains the stench for now, so I place it into the fridge to return to the store the next day. My thinking is that the freezer bag will subdue the salami until the next day, but I am a fool, a jester, and a clown. Overnight, the salami rebuilds its arsenal. The most putrid, insulting, horrific smell rips its way out of the fridge, grabbing me by the nose and tearing it clean off. The taste of salt fills my mouth and I'm unsure if it's from the salami or the tears streaming down my face. I rush to grab another few freezer bags and contain the salami as best as I can. The signature stench of the salami has filled the room. It's not going away on its own, so I open a window and head back to the convenience store with salami in one hand and a receipt in the other. I arrive and make my way to the cashier. As usual, I look malnourished and have baggy clothing, marking me as a suspicious customer. I go to send the salami back from whence it came, but the cashier has suspicions of my return, of course.
So why exactly are you returning this, sir?
Please don't make me open the bag. The displeased salami becomes eager. It smells really bad. I would open the bag, but I really don't think that's a good idea. Please don't make me open the bag. The salami knows what is about to happen.
Sir, I can't do the refund if it's in this bag. You need to take it out to return it.
You are making a mistake. The salami is preparing to strike. I put it in a clear bag so you can scan the barcode through the bag. Trust me, you really don't want to open this. Please, for the love of all things holy, do not make me release this monster. The salami is foaming at the mouth.
Sir, I can't do this return without you opening the bag. Either open the bag or take it home. I can't refund your money if it's in a bag.
I worked at this chain for 3 years and that has never been a policy. I don't know why you would make that up other than to somehow catch me in some act, but please just trust me. The salami suddenly goes silent. It is ready. Are you sure?
Yes, it is our policy.
No, it isn't, but if you insist, then very well. Don't say I didn't warn you. I barely crack open the freezer bags, and the salami, furious, bursts out with a stench so sour that even the Karen in line behind me pulls her mask over her nose. Actually, the cashier begins coughing as I pull the salami out of the bag. She apologizes profusely about the foul-smelling meat and scans the beast before issuing me $5.99 in store coupons. I take the bag with me, leaving no line of defense between the cashier and the salami. You said you can't accept bags, right? Well, I guess I'll just keep these bags then. She tries using a store bag to contain the salami, but to no avail, as the store bags aren't airtight. You didn't want my bag, so have fun working next to the salami until the line dies down. I grab 2 jars of peanut butter and buy them with the coupon, and head back home to have me some peanut butter and bread. Should have just stuck with old reliable. Not gonna lie, this story took me back to the days where I was scrounging quarters together to go buy bologna at the store. Sometimes you just get tired of peanut butter, and the enticement of being able to have some kind of sandwich meat makes it all worth it. Until in the end you realize that it's a stench monster in disguise. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, and if you haven't, subscribe and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you do, whether it's just viewing the video, liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, I appreciate the heck out of it. Every little thing that you do helps the channel grow that much more, and I can't thank you enough for it. So until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be right here next time on the Storytime channel.